In this lecture, we're going to start using functions. Functions are another commonly used feature of PHP. So, what is a function? Functions are a feature for performing a specific set of instructions. Hold on a moment. Isn't that the same as keywords? As we know, keywords are also used for giving the machine instructions to perform. So, what are the differences? There are actually a lot of differences, but for the sake of simplicity, I'm going to summarize it into one key difference. Keywords are considered to be a core feature of the PHP language. We can't disable or remove keywords from PHP. On the other hand, functions can be disabled from the language. But why would someone want to do that? PHP has a few questionable functions in its repertoire. There are developers who believe these functions should be cautiously used by the community. To prevent developers from accidentally using a dangerous function, it's advisable to disable them. Keywords can't be disabled, whereas functions can be disabled. We're not going to need to disable any function for this course. However, it is something you should be aware of when dealing with functions. In the resource section of this lecture, I provide a link to an official list of functions available from PHP. Almost immediately, you're going to notice another difference between keywords and functions. PHP has hundreds of functions, whereas there are only a handful of keywords. Scrolling through this page, you'll find a function for just about anything. You can perform actions from reading a file to encrypting data. I know it can feel overwhelming at first, but don't feel stressed about the enormous list of functions. It's highly unlikely you're ever going to need all of them. I myself haven't even used more than 20% of the functions listed on this page. So, what functions are we going to use? For starters, we're going to use a function called variable dump. Let's head over to our project. Inside the script, I'm going to replace the existing code with a function called variable dump. Functions are easy to write. A function can be executed by typing the name of the function followed by a pair of parentheses. But what are the parentheses for, you may ask? Well, we can pass on data to the function. The question is, what kind of data? That'll vary from function to function. The job of the variable dump function is to output a value onto the screen. It's very similar to the echo keyword. However, there's one critical difference. The variable dump function also outputs the data type of the value. For example, let's type 29 into the parentheses. This time, the page displays the value, but the data type as well. The variable dump function was introduced to help developers debug their programs. It can be useful to view the data type of your values. In the next set of lectures, we're going to start using this function to help us inspect the various data types offered by the PHP language.